Hey, welcome back everyone. This is Uncle Frank, and I am not a financial advisor, nor is any of the content to be construed as financial advice. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. Welcome to Monday, July 29th. To say I'm excited is a profound understatement. So this week, July 30th and 31st, is the FOMC meeting. I am not expecting a rate change, right? In August, no Fed meeting is scheduled, but September 17th and 18th is the FOMC meeting. We will get a rate decision. We are 51 days to the second day of that meeting. In October, there is no Fed meeting scheduled. November 5th are the U.S. elections. We are 99 days to the next election. December 17th and 18th will be an FOMC meeting. On January 20th of 2025, Trump should be sworn in as president. On January 21st, Gary Gensler should be fired. We are 176 days to the firing of SEC Chairman Gary Gensler. Well, there it is, guys. I'm sure you've heard by now. Quote, on day one, I will fire Gary Gensler and appoint a new SEC chairman. I didn't know he was that unpopular, said Trump, speaking at the Bitcoin 2024 conference in Nashville. Trump also declared his intention to transform the U.S. into the world's leading crypto capital if he wins the upcoming election. He reiterated that the U.S. must lead in crypto or other countries will dominate. Well, guys, there are few things that could make Uncle Frank cry with joy, but this is one of them. For years, I've had to get run over in the market by the primes, hedgies, market makers, the financial media, watching them cheat in the open in full view of the SEC and FINRA. I watched the SEC allow the removal of the buy button at Robinhood to save brokers, hedgies, primes, and clearing firms, instead of indicting them for breaking the securities rules and laws with impunity. I didn't forget the pie-in-the-face video paid for with our tax dollars, but most of all, I've had to sit in XRP for years while Gary's SEC fumbles their way through court and the weakest case I've ever seen, delay after delay after delay. But now I want you to know that Gary heard this announcement too, of course. He lost when he worked for the Clinton campaign. There is no chance he will be Treasury Secretary. God willing, he will face multiple oversight committee hearings in the future, and I can't wait to celebrate when the XRP case is finally over and Gary Gensler is finally fired. On topic, I see a new Sunshine Act notice from the SEC for another closed-door meeting. Time and date, Thursday, August 1st, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. On Ripple XRP from Sunday, Ripple update. What to expect from XRP and Ripple lawsuit this week. Ripple active addresses doubled over the weekend, signaling a rise in activity among traders per sentiment. XRP traders have consistently taken profits in the coin over the last 2 weeks, increasing selling pressure on the altcoin. XRP sustained above key psychological support at 60 cents, extending gains by nearly 2% on Sunday. Ripple proponents expect a ruling in the SEC lawsuit by the end of July, per the comments of attorney Fred Rispoli. And from this morning, XRP News Today, SEC versus Ripple verdict approaches, market braces for impact. XRP advanced by 1.01% on Sunday, July 28th, closing the session at 0.6024. The SEC versus Ripple case remained the focal point as investors awaited the court verdict. On Monday, July 29th, SEC versus crypto-related news requires consideration. The Ripple versus SEC showdown nears its climax. A leaked image has ignited intrigue around the case. Both Ripple and the SEC brace for a protracted legal war. The crypto world is holding its breath as the clock ticks down on Judge Annalisa Torres's decision in the high-stakes Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. As the final days of July faded without a verdict, all eyes now turn to August 1st. Ripple, and the SEC stand on the precipice of a watershed moment, bracing for a ruling that could send shockwaves through the cryptocurrency landscape. All right, let's get ready for the open and the week. Big tech earnings, a Fed meeting, and the July jobs report. What to know this week. So this is what Wall Street wants you to know. The stock market rally is in its most fragile state in months ahead of Wall Street's busiest week of the summer. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ recently had their worst single-day drop since 2022, and the index has struggled to recover losses during a Friday rally. All three major averages closed the final full week of July lower. The S&P 500 was down more than 1%, while the NASDAQ fell over 2.3%. Meanwhile, the Dow Jones Industrial rose about 0.6%. In the week ahead, the Fed Reserve meeting, the July jobs report, and earnings from big tech stalwarts Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, and Meta will drive the direction of markets to kick off August. Updates on job openings, activities in the services and manufacturing sectors, and consumer confidence are also on the calendar. A busy week of corporate earnings awaits, with 171 members of the S&P 500 expected to report quarterly results. AMD, ARM, Boeing, McDonald's, Starbucks will be among the companies highlighting the schedule. Meanwhile, the labor market has shown signs of cooling. The ratio of job openings to unemployed workers is back at pre-pandemic levels, and last month, the unemployment rate hit its highest level since November of 2021. This has prompted markets to price in the Fed's first cut in September, and investors will be keenly listening to Jerome Powell's press conference on Wednesday for any confirmation. Quote, the overall tone from the meeting, including from Chair Powell's press conference, should signal that a rate cut in September is a reasonable baseline without pre-commenting to this action. There's a lot riding on this week, guys. Big tech earnings arrive with NASDAQ 100 on brink of correction. From Bloomberg, the violent rotation out of big tech has dragged the NASDAQ 100 index down 8% in just over 2 weeks, leaving it on the cusp of a correction. Whether it can avoid that dubious milestone will likely come down to earnings from a quartet of companies worth nearly $10 trillion combined. We're talking about Microsoft on Tuesday, Meta on Wednesday, and Apple and Amazon on Thursday. As I said in my previous video, today, Monday, July 29th, we should be digesting all the articles stemming from the Deadpool Wolverine weekend, the box office, and most important to me, the entire industry's view that this could mark the end of the pandemic and writers' strikes narrative and impact on the industry as a whole. So beginning tomorrow, Tuesday, the Fed meeting begins, but at 10 a.m., we'll get job openings and consumer confidence. On Wednesday, July 31st, 8:15 a.m. Eastern Time, ADP employment at 8:30, employment cost index at 2 p.m., the FOMC interest rate decision. Obviously, we're not expecting anything now, but then at 2:30, we get Fed Chair Powell's press conference. Thursday, August 1st, 8:30 a.m., initial jobless claims. Friday, August 2nd, 8:30 a.m., U.S. employment report and unemployment rate. Big numbers, going to be a big day. It's options expiration day. And then at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, AMC's second quarter of 2024 earnings webcast. So guys, just sit back now. Enjoy the parade of headlines that will now roll in, starting with this one from The Independent on Sunday. Robert Downey Jr. dramatically returns to Marvel as arch-villain in Avengers: Doomsday. Marvel is on a roll, people. Remember that you're not leveraged 60 to 1 or higher. You don't have the glare of the press, regulators, and politicians focused on you. When and if the banks begin to fail, they can't blame retail, but they will need someone to blame it on, and it won't be the primes. It'll be the hedgies. You see, guys, this is from Disney on Saturday. Marvel Studios crosses $30 billion at the worldwide box office. This isn't just about AMC. This is about the entire industry getting its mojo back. So let the box office records keep rolling in. Disney's Marvel Cinematic Universe has become the first film franchise in history to cross $30 billion at the global box office. The theaters are dead, right? Deadpool and Wolverine, the latest entry in the sprawling series, pushed the haul across the coveted milestone after scoring $96 million on opening day in North America, the biggest ever for an R-rated release and the sixth highest of all time. It's poised to generate $195 to $205 million domestically and roughly $380 million to $400 million globally through Sunday. Just look at the headlines from the weekend. CNN Business, the New York Times, Deadline, and Forbes. We're just getting started. You can bash AMC all you want, but you can't sweep all this under the rug. Wall Street has a dilemma here because Cinemark, Regal, Disney, Marvel, IMAX, the studios, every company in the entertainment sectors are going to be crowing about all of this now. All right, let's check the most shorted stocks on the New York at Yahoo. So I've got the filters on the screener set for region. United States, price intraday greater than $1. Average volume over 3 months greater than 200,000. And the exchange is set for the New York. I see 1,633 results. Let's take a look. Cinemark is in the 13th position. Interesting note about the top 25 most shorted stocks under this criteria, only 3 of them were down on Friday. Keep it up, hedgies. I want you to. That means 22 of the top 25 most shorted stocks moved up against them. AMC comes in at 30th and Archer comes in at 33rd. That means AMC and Archer are more shorted than Carvana, Herbalife, even Fubo TV. Okay, I'm going to run through some of our favorites, starting with the highest short squeeze score to lowest from Fintel.io. Archer closed at 469, up 29 cents or 6.59% on Friday. Short interest, 47.85 million shares. Short interest ratio, 10.13 days to cover. Short interest as a percentage of float, now at 28.05. Short squeeze score, 80.35 out of 100. At the time of this recording, I see 600,000 shares available to lend in short at a cost to borrow fee of 21.47. Based on that August 2nd expiration, I've got Max Payne at 450. Cinemark closed at $21.99, up 68 cents or 3.19% on Friday. Short interest, 27 million shares. Short interest ratio elevated, 12.52 days to cover. Short interest as a percentage of float, 27.08%. Short squeeze score, 75.40 out of 100. At the time of this recording, I see 1.4 million shares of Cinemark available to lend in short at a cost to borrow fee of only 0.25%. Based on the August 16th expiration, Max Payne sits at 22 at the time of this recording. AMC Entertainment closed at $5.18, up 4 cents or 0.78% on Friday. Short interest, 53.74 million shares. Short interest ratio, 2.36 days to cover. Short interest as a percentage of float, 14.65%. AMC has a short squeeze score of 72.41 out of 100. At the time of this recording, I see 400,000 shares available to lend in short at a cost to borrow fee of 3.74 based on the August 2nd expiration. At the time of this recording, I've got Max Payne at $5 per share. The original meme stop, GameStop, closed at $24.13 on Friday, up 18 cents or 0.75%. 40.3 million shares out there for short interest. Short interest ratio stands at 4.63 days to cover. Short interest as a percentage of float, only 12.88%. I'll never believe that. Short squeeze score, 65.33 out of 100. At the time of this recording, I see a criminal 3.5 million shares available to lend and short on GME with a cost to borrow fee of only 0.44%. Based on the August 2nd expiration, GME max pain stands at $24.50 at the time of this recording. Breaking this morning from Deadline, Deadpool and Wolverine, all the box office records broken. Highest R-rated opening of all time, both worldwide and domestic. Biggest global opening since Avatar, The Way of Water. Highest July opening weekend of all time at domestic box office, surpassing The Lion King. Right? Guys, go and read it yourself. There are, half dozen records shattered. All that remains to be seen is how many billions the hedgies want to spend to hold down AMC. Hey, I want to thank you for watching, and please remember to hit the like button after this slide if you enjoyed the presentation. Subscribe to the channel and set the alert so you're notified when I have new information to share. See you at the bell.